You'll notice that I've put Happy Kitty up.
I did. I saw Happy
We
Kitty.
have Happy Kitty today, which apparently was a mistake because this morning has been a little rough.
It it jinxed us. Happy Kitty jinxed us.
I should have kept judgy, hateful Kitty up there and been like, nah, he's true to who we are inside. It's fine.
That's right. Judgy Kitty is our true inner spirit. That's right.
Well, I see you are not reporting from your bunker, so I guess that means you've decided it's safe to come out into the world. Leave your toilet paper hoard behind.
That's right. I've hidden it. I've hidden
Are you
the
kidding? You've been
toilet
selling it.
paper.
You've been selling it on the Silk Road, haven't you? Hanging out on the dark web.
I can neither confirm or deny that.
That's safe. It's safer that way.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Oh my gosh. So hello, friends.
Yes, hello, friends. Welcome to episode 6. Can you believe it? We made it to 6 episodes. Woohoo!
We've been doing this for 6 weeks. That's insane.
Oh, wow.
That's how I look at that. Yeah. That's crazy.
I've committed to this more than I've committed to just about anything else so far, so.
Right. 100%. Oh my gosh.
Well, so for the 6th episode, hello, everyone. I'm your host, April.
And I'm your other host, Claire.
And welcome to the Brunch and Judge.
Yay! Where we judge all the things.
Yes, we do. All of them. So, Claire, What are you judging today?
Okay. So, I don't know if you've heard about Brittney Griner.
No.
Okay. She is a WNBA basketball star. She's 6'9". She's huge.
Cool.
She played for Baylor. And what I'm judging, got a couple of judges within this whole story. But currently she is in Russia being held by the Russian authorities because they arrested her on February 17th at the airport for having cannabis oil in her luggage.
Excuse me?
Apparently drug dogs sniffed it out. They arrested her. And she's been there ever since. So here's where my judginess comes in on several things.
Oh my god. I'm like,
okay. First off, just now hearing about it this past week. Okay. Right. It happened on February 17th.
Yeah, that's been over a month ago.
Like a month. I think I heard about it on like Monday or Tuesday. So like right at a month has passed. And just now hearing about it. So I'm like, why are we just now hearing about it? I don't know. Because news media outlets feel like focusing on men's sports more than women's. Because let me just tell you.
Fuck that shit. Oh,
if that had been LeBron or Stephen Curry or, anybody, honestly, any male athlete, Michael Phelps, didn't even have to be basketball. Could have been any male athlete, Tiger Woods, any golfer, doesn't matter. It would be like front page in your face the second it happened.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, she's a woman. I mean, meh. WNBA, doesn't matter. Whatever.
Hey.
Like, why are we just now hearing about this? Because I don't remember, like, hearing anything at all until, like I said, like Monday or Tuesday. And I was like, wait, what? She's been there since February. That's insane to me. Number 2.
Okay.
There are also, like, I don't know, alleged, because I don't know that anybody can prove this, that one of the reasons they also arrested her is because of her sexual orientation.
Oh, no.
She is a lesbian. No. Yes, she is a lesbian.
Oh, God.
Yes. And apparently Putin has basically come out with his own, like he did it first, the whole like don't say gay thing. Because it is illegal in Russia to speak about homosexuality with a minor.
Oh, cool. I'm glad Florida was going the Russia route then. Great job, Florida. Great
Right.
fucking job.
Because that's already a thing over there.
That's awful.
Yes, 100% awful. And so now you've got some lawmakers who are thinking they're going to use her as a bargaining chip because of all these sanctions.
Right.
And I'm just like, this whole situation is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that, and there is another guy, I can't remember his name. I was reading up on it. He was, I think, Middle Eastern guy who was a news person who got arrested in Russia on some trumped up drug charges. Like, never confirmed. Finally, I forgot how long he was there. It was like over a year. And finally got out. And it was basically just a bunch of bullshit. All of it was Bush. None of it ever came like, oh yeah, he actually did have drugs on him. So that's what they're basically thinking with her, is that it was just kind of like a Bush thing, to begin with. And now they've got her in jail. And right now they're saying that she's not going to be released until May.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And people might be like, why was she over there? That's a great question. Why was she over there? Oh, she was over there because I don't know how many people know this. The WNBA doesn't even make like a tenth of what
Of course not.
the NBA people make. So the women in the off season, to supplement their salaries, go and play ball overseas because they can actually make more money doing that, playing ball in like foreign leagues than they can in the US. So that was part of why she was going over there, was to do her second job, her second basketball job.
Can you imagine having to have a second job when you're that elite of an athlete?
When you're a professional athlete. This woman has won the Olympic medal twice. She is an Olympic medal winner, like gold medal winner twice. So it's like, oh, but I still have to get a second job. So yeah, that's my judginess, is the whole thing is just, what is wrong with our world? I mean, do I feel like professional athletes should make as much money as they do?
Absolutely not. But
no, I don't. However, but
women should make just as much as
it is
their
the
male
world that we live in. The world that we live in. So athletes make a crap ton of money. But it's like the women are constantly. I mean, I did see that just finally the soccer team.
Yes.
Women's soccer team is finally making what the men make.
Yes.
And it's like, and they've won way more awards and competitions and medals and cups than the men. So it's like, why?
The thing that makes me angry is, like, the number one argument I hear is, well, the men's sports are more lucrative, so they should earn more money. I'm like, if they put even half of the amount of money that they put into the men's sports into the women's for like promotion and venue and branding and all of that shit, then they would be just as fucking successful. Because you know what? I'm happy. I don't particularly care that much about sports. I get bored watching most of them, but I'm equally bored watching whether it's men or women. It doesn't really make a difference. So pay them the same.
Equal opportunity bored person when it comes to sport.
Exhausting to watch. I mean, God, I like going to baseball games, but I don't like watching them on TV. They're long and boring.
I'm like that with most sports. Yeah, I'm like that with most sports. I would rather be at the game than watching it on TV. Definitely baseball.
I'm happy to go watch girls softball. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm there for the hot dogs. Let's be real.
Right, right. Yeah.
And I'm going to cheer them on no matter what. Because that's what you do. You go and you cheer for whichever team you're there for. It's fine.
Yes. But I agree. I'm more of a go there and watch type person, regardless of the sport. I mean, granted, basketball is like okay to watch on TV, but again, I'd rather be there because it's insane being there with all that, the atmosphere.
That I have watched way more women's basketball games featuring the Claire Allen than any other basketball team ever, including the Wildcats. So
she's not lying.
I'm not lying. I'm just saying.
She's the president of the Claire Allen fan club.
It's true. I have that T-shirt. And I'm right there ready to stand up and yell at the ref being an idiot. That's wrong. That was a foul. They pushed her. You're like, I'm there for it. To yell and scream.
Oh,
And
But anyway,
it's way more exciting to see girls at it anyway, quite honestly. Boys
yeah,
are stupid. It's just, let the girls have a chance.
that's right. But anyway, my judge is
Yes.
all of it. I'm judging Russia for being dicks once again with all of it, with the arrest, their don't say gay thing, any of it, all of that. And the fact that they would even want to use her as a bargaining chip if that's
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing.
That's
All of that's
so
terrible.
shitty.
I'm judging the news media for not talking about this more.
Yeah, it's like,
The fact that
guys.
she's been over there already a month and we're just now kind of hearing about it.
Well,
You
like,
know, all of it, every bit of it.
I can understand that maybe once Russia invaded Ukraine, that wasn't top news story, but there's a solid, like, 2 weeks between this happening and Russia invading.
Yes.
So,
And that's what they were saying, is that she was actually
Hello?
over there before the invasion took place. So it was like, you know, where was this? I mean, because we're too busy. Well, I guess we were, and rightfully so. I mean, because there for a while it was like, will they, won't they invade Ukraine? You
But-
know, it was like, I don't know. you know.
I mean, I guess in all of the stories of getting Americans out of Russia / Ukraine, they might have
Yeah.
mentioned, oh, but hey, world-renowned female basketball star, you know.
Yes. Yes.
You think that would be part of a story there, but
Right? Like, how hard is that just to throw that in there? So I think we need to be more mindful, you know, regardless of gender and sexual orientation and all of that. It's like, if one of our own is trapped in another country over some trumped up bullshit charges,
yeah.
you know, we need to be talking about that, you know? Like, I don't even
Because-
think it really hit until I think like Hillary Clinton like tweeted or something, tweeted a story about it and had like hashtag free Brittany. So we're still hashtagging free Brittany,
Oh no.
but it's a different Brittany,
A
you
different
know?
Brittany.
It's
Don't name your kids Brittany.
yeah, I
Just
know,
don't do
right?
it. Bad things might happen.
It's
Oh.
true. But yeah, so that's my judge.
Well,
Is
that's infuriating.
It is. Like, I think about it and I'm just like, I feel so bad for her. I mean, because like, what kind of legal team is she gonna have over there in Russia?
Well,
You know, it's
es-
like
especially now when it's not like we could send people over to be her legal team,
Right.
because they're just gonna get trapped there too. So
absolutely.
what a nightmare. I hate that. Ugh.
So that's my judge.
Excellent judge. I'm now angry and I'm gonna. You ready?
You need to. Yeah, I was already just saying we got to change it to Angry Cat.
Angry cat
Yes,
has returned.
because the world is stupid.
The world is stupid. But do you know who isn't stupid?
Who isn't stupid?
Well, my judge for this week, actually he is stupid, but in a much more entertaining way. My judge this week is Elon Musk. Yay!
Oh my gosh, yes.
So,
he is stupid in a very much different way.
so I have a love-hate relationship with Elon Musk. I think all of the world does. There are some things he does you're like, oh yeah, yeah. And then there's some things that he does you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Are you going to talk about what he named his child?
I am not. I am going to let that one go.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I don't actually know how you pronounce it.
I don't either.
So
It was just like Y and X or something.
yeah, I'm like,
It was
I don't
like,
know.
what?
I met a guy on a train when Spencer and I were doing the coastal train down the California coast. Beautiful, by the way, beautiful. And he works for SpaceX. And so he pointed out along the train ride. Yeah, he pointed out along the train ride one of their launching sites. They have a site out in the coast of California that you can't get to easily. And he was pointing it out, telling us about it. It was really cool. I was like, oh,
Nice.
cool. And
That's spiffy.
I feel like he talked about the kid's name and he gave me a pronunciation, but I don't think he was certain of the pronunciation. So I mean, oh, okay. But very nice guy. We had dinner with him and his wife, girlfriend. I don't know. Train life. It's an interesting thing.
Yes.
But no. Although that is an excellent thing to talk about. We're going to go with some current events. So Elon Musk has been very vocal on his support for Ukraine, which I'm here to applaud. Yes, support Ukraine. And has been really great about using his SpaceX satellites and technology and sending in equipment so that they can maintain access to the internet and have the ability to transmit messages,
Oh, that's
in and out of the
great.
country.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So I'm
I'm
here
glad
to be
somebody
like,
is using their power for good.
I'm
That's what
here to
I'm
be like,
glad. It's
I love
like,
this. I'm pro this. Keep helping, because Ukraine needs all the help that anyone can give. I
yes,
love all the outpouring of people like renting Airbnbs and buying Etsy artwork from kids,
yes,
just to help put money back in, and
to give
all
them
of those
some
things are
money so they
great.
can have a chance.
Yes.
Yes.
So, all the little things that you can do, and here's someone who can do big things, and he is doing big things. So, total applaud. I'm here for that. Good job. However,
Uh-oh, here it goes. Here's the butt.
last week, I think, or earlier this week, depending on when you hear this, he posted on Twitter challenging Putin to a man-on-man fight, the stakes being Ukraine.
What?
I swear to God. So he's like,
Okay,
just like
I
me
feel
and
like
you.
Elon Musk is not the manliest man on the planet. I mean, now if he was like Chuck Norris or something, I'd be like, heck yeah, let's do this. But,
Well,
like,
who knows?
what?
Maybe he does a lot of, training in his side life, but like, he was just like, let's just reach out to me, because he like calling him out on Twitter, which everyone's on Twitter, so of course. And so,
So he's basically like laying
Yeah.
down the gauntlet,
Yeah.
like, hey man,
down,
let's do a fight.
Yes. He follows it up. I'm gonna have to send it to you because it's too great. It's too great. And we'll of course post it on all the things, and it'll show up above this point. But at one point, he tweets out a picture of him with a flamethrower.
What?
It's like a side by side. So he's in one
Yeah.
picture with a flamethrower. On the other side is Putin half naked riding a bear. And he's
Oh my gosh.
and he was like, "Which one are you gonna bet on?" And he was like, "I'll even give you 10% more of the pay-per-view." Like, it was just hysterical.
Oh my
To
gosh.
Putin, is like, "You'll get more money. Come on, let's do this." And I'm cracking
Oh my
up.
gosh. That's kind of fantastic and ridiculous all at the same time.
And then, like, a few days later, some military leader from the Chechen army
Mm-hmm.
was like, "You're just a little feminine girl, you're just an Alana. You need to come train with us. We'll beef you up so that you could actually take on a real man like Putin," or something. Like, it was just some ridiculous troll out. To which Elon, to my great pleasure, changed his name to Alona, and he's like, "I got this. I don't need you."
Stop it. Yes. That's amazing.
But it's this bizarre like side story that's just kind of filtering through like the internet, and I'm like,
yes.
What the hell is happening? I mean, I'm like, good for Elon Musk helping out Ukraine, but I'm like, you're gonna do what now? You're challenging Putin to like a fist fight? What's happening?
Gonna rumble. This is like a West Side Story.
But him with a
take a gun to a
flamethrower
knife fight.
and Putin on a bear was the best of it all. Because I was like, okay, this is where we are now. Claire, we are living in an alternate timeline, okay?
We really are.
This is not real life. This can't possibly be the time. I'm waiting for the timekeepers to come and like erase us all or whatever.
And you'll just wake up one day and be like, where am I? What time period is this?
It's like, is this real life?
I know, I feel like we have like shifted and we're just like, this isn't real life right now. What? All the things. Why does Putin keeps coming back to our judges, man? We are always like, Russia and Putin, like, y'all suck.
I know.
Just get out. Just go away.
Yeah. Although, quick side judge, guys, Tom Brady, what the hell? Like,
yes. I got so enraged with the Brittany Griner thing. I forgot to mention this because I was something like, yeah, I'm judging Tom Brady again. And then it was like, oh.
I need you to know. So my mother, who I love very, very much, and is doing her best to listen to our podcast in all of my uncouth language. So I appreciate her support. That's very kind. I don't know how far she's gotten, but when I talked to her last week, she had finally made it through the first episode, and she liked it. She thought we were funny and had a good time. And as we were talking, she was vaguely watching like 60 Minutes in the background, and one of those like breaking news alerts pops up, and it's literally Tom Brady decided to come out of retirement. And my mom is telling me this on the phone after we had talked about it, about how much we hate Tom Brady.
Yes.
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. What the hell? It's like,
And
why?
my story, I know, and my story about this is my cousin, she will text me like her thoughts as she's listening to the podcast. She'll be like the one, she was like, oh my God, she's like, April doesn't like Captain America and Allie hates Chris Evans. Like, she's just like, what was wrong with you people? Because they're big like Marvel people in her house. She and her husband
You can
are
like
big
all the other Marvels. You just cannot like Captain America because he's trash. The rest are fine.
But she was like, well, it's been a while since I've watched it. Maybe if I go back and do a rewatch now, because I mean that did come out like 10 years ago.
Fair.
So, but she'll text me that. So she's like in the middle of texting me about listening to one of the episodes, and then she sends me a screenshot with like our stuff like in the top because she's listening to it, and it was like some kind of breaking news, and it was because Tom Brady was coming out of retirement, and I was just like, what? No. Why?
It's been 2 months. You're not even really retired at this point.
I know.
Gross.
And so then all the memes, like the memes about he's been home for 2 months and he can't even stand to be with his wife and kids, or so then he comes back to work, or the memes about gas prices being so high, even Tom Brady has to go back to work. Those, I'm kind of here for those. Those are kind of funny. Fair. But I text my parents because Dad always texts me anything about Tom Brady, right, especially when he fails, and he fails hard. But I was just like, you know what? I just want to look at him and be like, sir, you've had your chance.
Go
like,
away.
We get it. We get it. You're the GOAT. You're an excellent athlete. I can't dispute that, even though I don't like you. I can't dispute the athleticism, and I can't. I mean, I can't. But it's like, you've had your turn. You're over 40. You need to go home. Like,
find
just
another
leave.
Do something else.
Give somebody else a chance. Plus, you had your whole thing in your speech about, oh, I'm going to build my brand. It's like, go do that.
Brand. No.
I know you and I don't, but other people probably do.
But also, don't build like, that brand.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, go do that. Go be a sportscaster like everybody else who fucking retires from the NFL. That's what they do. They retire, and then they go and they're a sportscaster or a commentator or, somebody.
Better. Take all the ridiculous money that you have.
And
go and help the underprivileged kids build football programs so that they have the same opportunities that you had.
Right.
Share the wealth. My God.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross. Hate.
Try to be a better person and try to better humanity with what you have been given instead of just hoarding it. Anywho.
At least challenge Putin to a fight. I mean, come on.
Yes. I feel like Tom Brady could take him more than Elon Musk could.
I don't know. My money's on Elon. He's committed to it. Putin, and let's be honest, Putin is old and crotchety. He doesn't want to admit
he's like, what, pushing 70 at this point? So
I don't know. I know he has a picture hidden in a closet somewhere, so he's obviously have to find it and burn it in order to get rid of him.
Yes.
Cast some holy water.
Douse it with gasoline and burn it to the ground. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Tom Brady, what are you doing?
Okay, that's
indecisive all. Much, are we? I mean...
Well, and here's the thing. Isn't this like the second time that he did this? Didn't he like sort of fake retire? No, that was somebody else. Never mind.
Oh, there's been tons. Like Brett Favre.
Yeah, they all
Brett Favre did that. He retired because he was like with the Green Bay Packers, and he kind of retired, and he came back, and then he was with Minnesota, and it's like, what are you doing? You know what? I blame Michael Jordan. For this because he's the one who started it.
Well,
like, Mister, I'm going to retire, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to play for the Wizards. Like that was like, what are you doing? Stop.
What makes me angry is that literally everyone else in the United States of America would stab somebody to be able to retire at 40.
Oh, right.
So, stop. just stop being a dick. Go away. Be gone.
Yeah,
Be
we don't want to hear
gone,
about you.
demon.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about you.
Water.
Right? We don't want to hear about you anymore. It's like, just get.
Be
Leave.
gone.
Okay.
All right.
So judges. Yay.
All right. Yes. Thank you. So
See, I got so enraged with Brittany Griner, I totally forgot about Tom Brady because I was like, wait,
well,
what?
and Tom Brady was gonna be when Mom told me. I was like, well, I have my judge for this week, but
Same.
but then I read about Elon Musk and was like, Tom Brady will keep. He'll keep. He'll
Yeah,
enrage
that one,
me over
yeah.
and over. But all right.
Yep, pretty much.
Gross.
All right. So this week we're doing movies. So generic, but gives us lots of room for.
It does. Well, it's so much easier to find bizarre rabbit holes to go down than like Bitcoin was, where you're like, this is what
You're
Bitcoin
like, what is.
Bitcoin can be used to order a pizza, which is stupid, or it can be
Right.
used to hire a hitman, which is a farce. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yep.
I think it's my turn this week to go first.
Yes,
Okay.
it is your turn.
It's my turn. So, for my foray into movies, I decided to talk about Alfred Hitchcock and Tippi Hedren.
The Birds. Is that what this one?
Yes. So,
Okay, yep.
Tippi Hedren was in The Birds and in Marnie. I don't know if you've ever seen Marnie. It's
I've
dark
heard of
in
it.
its own
I've not
way.
seen it.
It's
Yeah,
good,
no, I've
but
heard of
it's
it.
also uncomfortable. Which,
Yeah.
to be fair, all of Alfred Hitchcock's stuff is uncomfortable.
Right. Right.
So I got my information from all sorts of places. So from Insider.com, USA Today, interviews with Larry King, which is funny. I used to live next to where he did his podcast, so I used to see decrepit.
Oh, when
Larry
you were in
King.
California?
I used to see decrepit Larry
Nice.
King like once a week. It was bizarre. It's bizarre.
Probably
Okay.
like, ew, what?
Yeah, I know. And like, I was kind of sad when he died just because I had a weird California connection.
You're like, oh, I've seen him. I've seen him when I get my groceries.
He's made me late for work because he parked in my driveway and I had to wait for his limo to
Oh,
leave, you know? That
great.
kind of thing. I'm like, hi, Larry. I gotta go to work.
Move your car.
Hi. I never took a picture. I should have taken a picture.
You should have.
But never did. But anyway, an interview from Larry King Live, an interview from Inside Edition, a Bust.com article, and The Guardian.
Nice.
So I gleaned lots of little bits and pieces to put this whole picture together. So Tippi Hedren was an unknown girl, really. By the time we learn of Tippi Hedren, she has a daughter, Melanie Griffith. Oh, man, I always have to stare at it because for some reason my brain can't hold on to it. Dude, Griffith,
yeah, because she was the one who's married to Antonio Banderas.
Sure.
And she is the mother, isn't she? Isn't she? She's the mother of Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson is Tippi Hedren's granddaughter. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
Okay. I'm tracking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so she was a single mom and had a little girl, Melanie Griffith, with a TH. And she had been a model, but was getting older. And as we know, models have a very short shelf life, which is unfortunate, especially back in the 1960s.
Oh, yeah. I feel like women in general had a very short shelf life back in the day.
It's fair. And so she decided to go to California, try some acting kind of things, because you can be an actress when you're older, because there are still older parts out there.
Mm-hmm.
She was in a commercial for a diet drink called Seago. I've never heard of.
What?
I don't know.
How do you spell it?
I don't know. I only heard it spoken, and I couldn't track it down.
Okay.
And everything else, it was just a commercial for a diet drink. And I was like, okay.
Without the name?
Without the name. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
But she said in one of her interviews, Seago.
Okay.
And Alfred Hitchcock saw the commercial. It was more of a storyline kind of commercial than just a, here's a drink, try it, you know.
Yeah.
And he was immediately like obsessed with her from that commercial and didn't know her name because there's not credits necessarily, obviously, in a commercial.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just referred to her as the girl. It's like, he sent his producers and people out to, like, I need you to find the girl, which is what she kind of became known as. And in fact, the HBO movie that came out like 10 years ago now, that was about Alfred Hitchcock and Tippi Hedren in the making of The Birds, was called The Girl.
Okay.
Good movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
So he was already enthralled with her so much that she was offered $25,000 to do a screen test. Now that's unheard of.
Just $25,000 just for a screen test?
Just for a screen test. And this is,
wow.
1960 money. Today it would be $235,000 to do a screen test.
Crazy.
And that's
wow.
Even though she had never acted in a film before. Like, she'd been in a commercial.
Like, just one commercial and ta-da, you've made it.
Right. And so Alfred Hitchcock loved her, shock, and signed her for a 7-year contract, which would come back to bite her in the ass, by the way. But
it comes back to bite her.
Oh, yes.
I hate that.
And in fact, she talks about the initial phone call that she got when they were trying to track her down.
Yeah. She
said it was Friday the 13th.
Of course it was.
In October.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, in 1961, when she got the call and she was asked, "Are you the girl?" from the commercial. So, like, she's the girl.
The girl. And she's like, I have a name.
And so, Tippi Hedren, even most of these interviews were from like 2016. Because she had just come out with her biography. And even in those interviews, she credits Hitchcock with making her a star. It was him, it was his crew, it was his guidance and help in helping her be a better actress that made her so successful. And her very first movie was The Birds, and she was one of the first icy blondes, is how she phrased it, that Hitchcock favored. And kind of look back and be like, oh, you're right. There were a lot of like blonde women who starred in his films. Yeah. But things on the set of The Birds were not always idyllic. She began noticing that Hitchcock would become, her phrase, cold and a bit petulant whenever he saw her talking to like a male cast member or crew member. Yeah. One afternoon in the back of a limo with Hitchcock going somewhere without any warning, he threw himself on her and tried to kiss her. What? Later on the soundstage.
That's not cool.
Yeah. Later on
of course, like, again, it's the 60s, it's so the 60s. That kind of crap probably happened all the time.
To me, it's one of those things that you need to remember about this story, because this blew up in like 2012 when that movie came out, but also 2016 when her book came out, her allegations against Hitchcock. Gotcha. He said that later on his soundstage, he asked her to touch him, and she resisted the urge to just slap him, so she instead just kind of turned and walked away. And
good for her, but I mean, still, like, ew.
Yeah, ew. And so, like, in response to that, she kind of chilled her behavior towards him and just maintained like a polite, professional,
like trying to
distance, just to try and separate it, to like, no, we can't, this is not okay, because he's married. Alfred Hitchcock is married at this point. But he did not like that treatment, and so he retaliated with cruelty.
Of course he did, because that's what men do.
So there is a very famous scene in the movie The Birds where she she's like in an attic or upstairs in a room, and the birds get in and they start attacking her.
Yeah.
She had been told that they were going to use mechanical birds for that scene. The same mechanical birds and puppets that they had used for when the birds are attacking the children earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
But that was a lie.
Of course it was.
When it came time to film, suddenly the mechanical birds weren't working, and so they had to use live birds instead.
Oh, no.
And,
oh, no.
Like, these birds were, like, thrown... This is 1960s. There's... Animal cruelty is not there yet, guys. There's no PETA on site making sure the birds are cared for.
Yeah.
So the birds are, like, attached to her by elastic bands, and they're being thrown at her. And... she
can't even imagine.
Yeah, and her memory, like, she calls like the whole filming of it. She's like, it was brutal, it was ugly, and it was relentless.
Yeah,
because it took 7 days of filming to film that one scene. 7 days of birds repeatedly being thrown at her and attacking her. You can't tell me you didn't have time to fix the damn mechanical birds.
Right, no. That's awful. That is awful.
And so some of the blood that you're seeing in that scene is not fake blood.
That's like actually hers.
Actually pecked in the face and on the arms by these birds. So like some of it is fake, but some of it is not fake. A lot more than you'd be comfortable with. And so, like, you see her, like, freaking out and screaming, and she's being attacked by birds, and that's not acting. That is real horror.
Like, her really just, like, freaking out because...
Yeah.
That's awful. How terrible. I hate people. That's just awful.
And so, she broke down, finally, after a bird that was attached to her shoulder almost pecked her eye. And then she was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And she ended up after, like, she walked off set and didn't come back for a week. She spent a whole week just in bed.
Well, yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, gosh.
And so, like, that was to me one of the worst, probably the very worst. Like, because she's being lied to. Well, you know. And like the Alfred Hitchcock apologists that are out there, because, there's all those, he wasn't really like that. It wasn't a cruelty thing. He was really upset about it. Like, he apparently hid in his office so he didn't have to watch it. And I'm like, then fix the damn mechanical birds. Whatever. Hate them. But on top of that, Hitchcock was a morbid sicko. Like, just really creepy, gross guy in general.
Yeah.
One day he gave Tippi's daughter, Melanie, a doll that was made to look like Tippi, made to look like her mother.
Okay.
Lying in a miniature coffin.
What?
I know! Isn't that so sick and twisted?
Awful. That's terrible.
And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you? My God, it's a child. Here's your mommy dead.
Like, so that's awful. Yeah. That is terrible. I don't care who you are.
But
wrong on so many levels.
But Tippi was, she was strong and she refused to let him break her.
Good for her. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, she was just like, fuck this, I got this, whatever. And, she had good positive associations with Hitchcock as well. Like, it felt like kind of a roller coaster ride, honestly. Because, I mean, he did make her and made her a great actress and was a great mentor to her, even though he was sick and twisted. But he gradually kind of took full control of her life. He would forbid her to socialize with her male co-stars. He would choose what clothes she would wear in public.
Ugh.
And he left...
That's gross.
This was bothersome, too. He would leave food on her doorstep that he wanted her to eat. And I'm like, that's weird. What the fuck is wrong with you? Weirdo.
That's...
But, like, Hitchcock was very obviously obsessed with her. And in one of her interviews, Like, she was talking about just the whole situation, saying, it's a difficult thing to be the object of someone's obsession when you're not interested. It's
Oh, yeah.
unbearable. And I'm like, oh my God,
And she's like, I don't want you at all
yeah.
in that way. I just want to have a professional relationship. How hard is that? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's my problem with a lot of men.
Yes.
Not going to say all. I'm not going to say all because they're not. They're not all
Right.
like that. But in general, it's like when a woman says no,
Yeah.
like, take that and bow out gracefully.
Yeah,
I mean, don't.
It's not an invitation to keep
No.
trying and to wear her
Or to
down.
or to try harder and
No.
make it and be ridiculous. No,
At that
absolutely not.
point, you can say, okay, if you change your mind, please reach out.
Yeah.
I won't bother you anymore. Because then she can change her mind if she wants to in the future. Be like, I really want to give them a chance. Then
Yeah.
they can come to you. But you leave that alone. You're done. You're out. Done.
Yeah.
Gross.
I think that's one of the things that even with children,
yeah,
you teach them like, oh, don't try harder. Just be nice.
You respect her wishes and you move the fuck on.
Let it go. Yeah, like don't obsess, don't get crazy. Just be like, okay, you gave me your answer. You gave me your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no was an answer. It's like, I know that's a novel idea that no is an answer.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's like, quit. Just stop it. All right.
So in 2012,
Yes.
Tippi Hedren did an interview with the BBC and talked about working on the sets with Alfred Hitchcock and said that it was really, she equated it to being in a mental prison. Like, it was just a constant game of will he, won't he, obsessive, cruel kind of life.
So basically you're saying that it's kind of like one of those life imitates art, imitates life kind of things.
Right. So he really...
Since all his movies were like psychological thrillers and he was playing all these mind games with her. So it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, I make these movies. I want my real life to be a psychological thriller.
Well, and so enter her second movie with him, Marnie.
Okay.
So
now
Marnie,
I've not seen this movie, so
Marnie, it's been a long time since I've watched it.
Yeah.
But Marnie is this kind of traumatized woman who I feel like she was a thief, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That might not be correct. Please don't at me. It's literally been like 10 years since I've seen this movie. Or longer. Yeah. God, who knows? But yeah. I do remember that she ends up marrying the guy, the co-star of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically rapes her in the movie.
While they're married or before?
Yeah, because he's like, I'm your husband, you're mine. And like,
one of those.
She's like this weird, broken, fragile creature, but she's beautiful. I mean, Marnie is this beautiful creature. I mean, woman, but in the movie, creature. Like, she's just...
Yeah.
That's
like
her
she's
role is to just
she's a
be
thing.
an object. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's not a person.
It's a different kind of movie from The Birds, but dark and traumatic still. But so during the filming of that movie, Hitchcock actually installed a secret door that led from his office to Tippi's dressing room.
Perv. Oh, what a perv.
Oh, wait for
I can't handle it.
He had the makeup team construct a mask of Tippi's face for his own personal ownership. They didn't need it for the movie.
That's disgusting.
And
somebody needs help. Like, that's what that tells me. Somebody needs help.
Like, it's just, ew. And
I know this was the 60s, but I feel like as somebody who was part of that makeup team, once you found out it wasn't something they needed for the movie, but he was just making, I think I would tell somebody. Like, that's just creepy.
Well, it's one of those things. So she mentions in interviews when she's doing like the rounds for her biography, she's like, words like stalking
weren't part of the
they
vernacular
weren't,
back then.
they didn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no recourse. They weren't, it was okay for men to do that. So it was probably just like, oh, he really likes her, and she owes him her career, so he can have whatever he wants. Like, that mentality was strong.
Mm.
But so he was telling.
This kind of thing infuriates me.
It does.
I'm
It's
just
horrible.
like,
It makes me very angry. And watching the movie The Birds, which is like the making and a bit of the Tippi Hedren story, like,
Yeah.
it's awful. I mean, I love Alfred Hitchcock's movies. I mean, he
Right.
was very obviously a genius and created a whole genre of movies that wouldn't exist otherwise. Like, he started it.
Yes.
And you can admire that, but he was not a good person. Not
No.
at all.
Which is how I feel like a lot of those people from back in the day,
they were
like
good people.
Like, well, no, it just seems like they're all like, oh, they were very talented, a very creative person who had a lot of, creative genius, all that. But then you get down to it and you're like, yeah, this guy was like,
Well, I think it's just
he was either a perv or he was just, a terrible person. It's like,
given this leeway, there were not boundaries, and so
right.
It was just status quo. And you kind of wonder, in today's time where there's Me Too, there are, a lot more, every job has some kind of sexual harassment training. Like, there's more conversation about it. There's more words. There's more crimes related to stalking and things.
Yes.
If he were around today, he probably wouldn't have, like, he might have internally been kind of a sick bastard, like, your own personal thoughts, but...
Yeah. But he wouldn't have been able to act out on that and kept his job. Yeah.
And it's one of those, you inch forward and everybody's okay with it, so you inch forward even further and everyone's okay with it. So I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like,
I don't know
back in the day it was
been different or not.
It's like back in the day there was that whole mindset like, oh, guys will be guys.
Mm-hmm.
But if a woman had done something like that, it's like, oh, she's crazy.
That's right.
We need to commit her. She needs to be in an institution. I mean, if you put, like, they did the exact same thing, a woman would have been like, nope, we're putting her away and locking the key. We're not, nope. That kind of thing. So that's also what drives me crazy. The double standard of everything.
Well, and
the double standard. That's what this episode, the double standard.
The double standards.
Yes.
Goddamn double standards.
Right.
So in the scene, well, in the movie Marnie, there is a scene where she's raped by her new husband.
Mm-hmm.
And Tippi believed even then that the scene was Hitchcock's personal fantasy about her. Because he would tell her about his fantasies of her, with her promising eternal devotion to him, and she's going, that's not me, I'm not doing that.
No.
And so suddenly she's filming this scene in which a man is forcing himself upon this unattainable, beautiful woman, because Marnie is, you just need to watch it. She's a slightly aloof character, but it's an aloofness that comes from trauma. And like, it's just, you can read it on her face. And now I look back going, that's real trauma on Tippi's face, because Alfred Hitchcock was insane.
That's not acting. That, kind of like the birds and her screaming. Mm-hmm. And the blood, not acting, not fake.
And so in her biography, Tippi claims that she was sexually assaulted by Hitchcock.
Okay.
That he engaged in a non-consensual contact in her dressing room while on the set of Marnie. And this is verbatim from her book. He put his hands on me. It was sexual. It was perverse. The harder I fought him, the more aggressive he became. And so then then he started adding threats, as if he could do anything to me that was worse than what he was trying to do at that moment, she wrote. So she was like pushing him off, being like, no. And
I hate that.
She was fighting
I hate that for her.
Yeah. She was fighting him off, and Hitchcock promised saying, I'll ruin your career, because she was still under contract.
Yeah.
And Tippi was like, you can do anything you want, because this is not okay. I'm not doing this. We're not.
Yeah. At that point, you're like, is the
She's like,
contract and the career worth it?
yeah, and
You
for
know?
her, which kudos to her. I don't know in that situation, my
Yeah.
career, my livelihood that's taking care of my child, my future, do I risk that? Like, I can imagine women having to make that decision and being like, I gotta
Yeah.
just let it happen in order to
Mm-hmm.
maintain my career. So kudos to her for in that moment even being able to be like, absolutely not. Fuck this career.
Yeah.
Get off me.
And probably the fact I feel like that she had a daughter,
Yeah.
that she's single and she had a daughter to think about as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of role model do you want to be to your kid at that point? That probably
Yeah.
played a part into it as well. I
But
would
again, like,
imagine.
I remind myself it's the 1960s. Like, who
And
knows?
that too. Yes.
Who knows? I mean, my goodness. But Tippi said that after that incident, she never spoke to him directly again, even though they were still filming Marnie.
Good to her. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
I don't know if that was her or him, but still, like, I'm glad that she
yeah.
was able to, like, at least have some kind of, mediator or whatever. Like, don't talk to me.
But he did, of course, ruin her career. She still had 3 years left in her 7-year contract. And he would not put her in any more of his movies. And he would not allow anyone else to have her because she was still under contract. He would just say, no, you can't, even though she wasn't filming anything, getting no anything.
Wow.
And so that it destroyed her career. I mean, she's obviously done lots of random things acting because she's
Yeah.
Tippi Hedren. We all know her, but
Yeah.
those 2 movies were her big film career.
Yeah.
But interestingly, despite all of this, despite the horrible things he did to her and the fact that he ruined her career, when Alfred Hitchcock died in 1980, she went to the funeral and, she even in all of the interviews in 2016, still called him a brilliant filmmaker because she was, as she said, able to separate the artist from the man, which I think is amazing. I don't think I would
Oh,
be
yeah.
that. I'd be like,
Gracious.
he's a giant fucking dick, and yeah, we made a couple movies, and I was good in them, and maybe he helped me, but it didn't make any of that okay. So,
Yeah.
I just, bleh.
Yeah, the fact that she could still be as gracious as she is, it's like, props to you, because
Well,
that
yeah.
would be so hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
Well, and, the other word she said, in a lot of the interviews, she talked about how stalking and sexual assault wasn't even a thing in the 1960s. Like, those weren't.
Oh, yeah.
None of that really existed then, which is horrific. How many people went through these awful situations and there weren't even words for it? Like,
Yeah. And then even when the words did start to become part of the vernacular, even the punishments for those things, it took a long time for the punishment to match the crime.
Well,
I feel like,
even now, stalking is not.
That's such a hard thing. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's enough to get cops to maybe talk to somebody, but they don't.
Yeah.
Nothing to keep you safe from it. So.
And that's one of the things that drives me crazy because I've seen several 48 hours / Dateline episodes on it. And it's just like you have so many things where these people like destroy your property and do all these different things. And because they didn't harm your person, they can't do anything about it. And I think that is Bush. I do.
Yes.
There was one woman who did finally get something because the guy had put a GPS on her car without her knowing.
Ooh.
Like like in the trunk or like underneath the bumper or something like that, because she just noticed that she would be at all these random places.
And he'd
like,
just show up.
Yeah, it wasn't like just, he was at my work or something like that. Like
Right.
she would go out like someplace random that she hadn't been before and he was there.
That's
And
crazy.
so she had somebody, she took her car and she had somebody like go over her car and they found a GPS thing. And so they were able to get him on that. But I mean, something like that still doesn't carry like a big sentence, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And it's so infuriating that
Especially because we
you
know from
can't,
Criminal Minds, stalking is the first step in bad behavior. Like, it just gets
right.
worse. It
Like
doesn't
that
get
just
better.
leads to something else. And that kind of, talking about current events, I feel like that kind of leads up to that whole like Kanye Kim thing going on right
Mm-hmm.
now, that she's just trying to live her life and he
Mm-hmm.
is making
Crazy.
her life miserable. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you saw anything that Trevor Noah put out about it, but he was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's because he made that comment that yeah, Kim Kardashian, she does like publicity, but she also deserves the right to be able to live her life.
Mm-hmm.
And he is harassing her, you know, and with yeah, she likes the publicity, but not that kind of publicity. It's like he is harassing her.
Right.
Something needs to be done. And I feel like, and I've never, disclaimer, I have never been a Kardashian fan.
No, but
Ever.
that.
I've never watched an episode of their show,
Nope.
nothing. And any of the shows, actually,
Nope.
with Chloe and all that, never watched anything. However, I feel like once you leave a relationship, that other person should just be like, okay, this is done.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Let this person live their life.
Yes.
And I'm afraid either he's going to be completely unhinged and try to hurt her, or one of his crazy
Fans.
fans is going to like take it too far because I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility either. So it's like, I feel like it's just something that always plagues entertainment. you know, the the stalking, the harassing,
Yeah.
those kind of things. I feel like that's always something you see, whether it's by other people in entertainment or fans. It's always something I feel like that's been around. It's like, what is happening? This is not cool. Stop it.
No. Mm-mm. Um. Well, and Tippi handled it well.
Yeah.
She found new passions for her life. She spent the next 50+ years after that caring for endangered big cats that were discarded by circuses, private owners, and zoos.
Aw.
So
Please tell me
she,
she's not like in with Carol Baskin or something
not to
like
my knowledge,
that.
she has like
Okay,
a
that's good.
huge like reserve kind of space in
Gotcha.
California
Okay,
that
good.
or
Good.
Arizona, California, Arizona. I don't remember now, but in order to care for these big cats that had been in bad
Yeah.
situations, and she said that while these big cats were predators like Hitchcock,
Yep, there you go.
Hitchcock was not as handsome as a lion or a tiger for sure.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's
Burn.
right, cats over men.
Always.
She is my crazy cat lady like idol now. I'm like, I want to be Tippi Hedren level cat lady.
Like take
That's my
care
new
of
bucket list life goal. We're gonna care
take care
for
of
the
big
cats.
cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All the cats.
All of the cats, and I'm gonna
Big
be
and
like,
small. Big and
yeah.
small cats. All of them.
And so that is my story of Tippi Hedren and Alfred Hitchcock. Now, I would like to put in
That's
a caveat
crazy.
here. Um, all of these, of course, are allegations. Hitchcock died in 1980, so he can't speak to them. Um,
So it's all allegedly.
well, it is alleged, and there have been all sorts of like screams from the Hitchcock lovers and apologists that are
Mhm.
like, no, that's not really what happened, and blah 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 blah. But this is I tend to believe Tippi Hedren. She has some very specific, instances, and
Yes.
there have been other women who have said, not quite to this scale, but have said other things. Um, Hitchcock was kind of crass in and of himself. So like
Mhm.
he enjoyed telling dirty jokes, and apparently they went over well with maybe Grace Kelly and someone else, I forgot whose name it was. But
Yeah.
Tippi did not like them. They made them hurt her uncomfortable, and he just kept pushing these kinds of things. So
Yeah.
it's to me it's the consent issue. Tippi Hedren
Oh,
felt
absolutely.
all of these things did happen to her, and Alfred Hitchcock, based on the things that I've read, I think Tippi is telling the truth. But I will say that this is alleged. Um, because there isn't DNA evidence or video or anything unless you count watching the movie The Birds and watching her actual terror on screen. But whatever, you choose.
Yeah.
You choose
Yep.
which side you're on. I'm pro Tippi here.
Yes.
But
same.
That's it. That's my story
Yay!
for movies.
That's excellent. I love it.
Thank you.
I don't know that I'd ever heard all of that. So, especially the part about the real birds and that whole, I was just like,
God.
what was that?
Well, and like some of that is documented. It did take several days to film that. It was real birds when it was supposed to be mechanical,
Yeah.
So it's different viewpoints as to, well, Hitchcock felt really bad about it. And like, then why did we film it for so many days? Like,
yeah. Like you said, you could have fixed the mechanical birds.
So
but
I'm
whatever.
like, to the point that she had like a breakdown. I mean,
yeah. Like I said, she was like in bed for a week. She's like, I can't deal with this anymore.
So
yeah.
like one day of filming would have been sufficient. Okay, it's just birds flying at her. It's
so
fine.
really, like the end, where she's just like almost in a catatonic state, just walking out. Like that really wasn't
legit.
acting for her.
No,
She's
I'm
just
pretty
like,
sure that was legit.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was an excellent story.
Thank you.
Yay.
What
Okay.
have you brought us this week, Claire?
Yay. I'm going to talk about some cursed, quote unquote, cursed movie sets.
Yay.
All these movies that have bad things. Since you've already covered Jaws, we won't talk about that.
That's fair.
But I feel like that was just because Steven Spielberg was ridiculous and wanted what he wanted.
He was not willing to give an inch. And also,
yes,
they were stupid, and salt water is not the same as fresh water. But
right, yes.
Whatever.
So Jaws is not on this list, however, but I did get all my stuff from, I'm like you, I got several. TheWrap.com, Ranker.com, Insider, The Sun, Biography.com, Time.com, Inquisitor.com, and Wikipedia. Yay. So I think I've got like four movies.
Great.
I'm going to start with this one, and it's actually, like, it never got made because... well, I'll get to that in a minute, but it's called Atuk, and it's based off,
how do you
it was
spell
never A-T-U-K.
Atuk. Okay.
Atuk. I went and looked up, I like listened to several people say it, because I was like, is that Atuk? I don't know.
Attic.
Atuk. Yeah, attic. Yeah, Atuk. And it's based on a novel called The Incomparable Atuk that was written in 1963, and it was a satirical novel. And it was released in the U.S. and it was called Stick Your Neck Out, was the name of the U.S. version. But it was about, I know, but it was about a Canadian Inuit that has been transplanted to Toronto and gets caught up in like the new culture and all that. So he like adopts the greed and the pretensions of the big city. But it's satire. So wanted to make a movie out of it, just called Atuk. And they had been trying to make it from like the 1980s to the 90s. And every time they would cast somebody as the lead, the person died.
What?
Like, there are several people who were associated with this movie who passed. So you got John Belushi, Sam Kinison, John Candy, Michael O'Donoghue, Chris Farley, and then allegedly Phil Hartman.
Ooh.
Like, Phil Hartman was like, they weren't completely sure about that one, so that one was alleged. But the others had been like,
can you imagine?
Were like in the works.
They just mentioned my name and then I died. Thanks, guys.
Right, yeah. So, and I'm just like, that's a lot of like big names.
Yeah.
To be kind of attached to this thing that they wanted to get made, and then they died. And so they just kind of like scrapped it. It never was released, not got made. It was like, what is wrong with this movie?
Can you imagine being like the person who owns the film rights being like,
just forget it.
We tried this like 5 times now and they just keep dying, so I'm just gonna not anymore. Like, can you imagine having a conversation with like your lawyer or something? So we're not gonna do this because I keep accidentally killing people.
Right.
By writing by thinking their name in my head, yeah.
It's just like, oh geez.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that one, it never got made. And I mean, 6 people that
Yeah.
Had either signed on or were like in the works of like being like in contract, trying to, be on this movie that died in the process.
Wow.
And I'm just like, that's insane. So that one never was made. And it was just like, not even the set wasn't even, they never got started. It was just like, these people just keep dying. It's wow. I was like, I've never heard of this. What is this? And I was like, oh, and the names that are attached to it. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like, Phil Hartman and Chris Farley and Belushi. It's like, oh my gosh, these
Are they just trying to kill all the people we love?
I know. And so it's just like, you
Wow.
know what? Let's just like put this one back on the
Oh, hey, I
shelf
got an
and
idea.
not.
No,
Yeah.
let's make it, but let's cast Putin.
Yes. That's excellent. Get him in the works on the contract and we'll see how that goes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's good. All right. So my next one I'm going to talk about is The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, love.
Because that one had a whole a whole bunch of stuff. So like your movie, being like back. Okay, this one was like made in '39. So
Right.
again, a lot of stuff that we have today was not in place back in the day. Like safety things. Not
Crazy.
not back then. No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
People are replaceable.
one
It's
of the
fine.
things that do what?
Said people are replaceable. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, and you will see that they are replaceable. It's fine. So one of the things that happened was, which I had always heard this. Mom had told me about this. The guy who was originally cast as the Tin Man, Buddy Ebsen, and I always heard it was just an allergic reaction to the makeup.
That's what I heard.
Always what I heard. Okay, this was
not
like
real?
much more. Well, it's much more than just an allergic reaction.
Oh god.
Like when you think allergic reaction, you think, oh, he broke out in hives.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a rash. No. So the makeup was aluminum dust. Just aluminum dust.
Okay.
And it basically poisoned him, is what happened. Yes. So he got violent cramps in his hands, arms, and legs. And it caused him to have trouble breathing. He wound up in the hospital for 9 days, sitting in an oxygen tent.
Oh wow.
Because he just could not breathe. I mean, he was not getting better fast enough. And because he did not get better fast enough, they replaced
him because he was
Yes.
sick and dying in a hospital. Oh my god!
Yes,
I
because-
just assumed he was like, "Oh, I can't do this."
Right? No, the makeup literally poisoned him. Like I said, it was an allergic reaction, and like I said, you think hives, rash,
Right.
something like that. Not, oh, I'm going into these violent cramps all over my body and I can't breathe, and I had to go to an oxygen tent because
My god.
this makeup almost killed me. So they replaced him with a guy named Jack Haley, who was the guy that we know. And so I guess they realized that aluminum dust wasn't exactly the best idea. So they took the dust and they made it into a paste to paint on his face. And he even got an infection in his eye.
Oh god.
Yes. But that was able to be treated, and they were able to clear it up fairly quickly.
They were like,
so
all
he
right,
was
we'll
not...
give you time this time, but if it takes 9 days, we're recasting again.
Right, exactly. So I was just like, I did not realize that one guy almost died because of the makeup. It was just like, wow, that's crazy. So, on to, well, this one's kind of, again, with the safety. Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, she got 2nd-degree burns on her face and 3rd-degree burns on her hand.
Oh god.
And it's where the part where she's like, I'll get you my pretty and your little dog too. And then she like poof and the fire and all that. She was supposed to be lowered by an elevator, a hidden elevator, to go down into the ground, and then the smoke and the flames and all that stuff. Well, they set the pyrotechnics off too early.
Oh no.
And so her broom and her hat caught on fire. So that's how she got the burns on her body.
This is why we have stunt doubles now, right?
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. So, because of that, and she was burned by the pyrotechnics, the makeup artist had to rush over to wash off her makeup because it had copper in it, and it could
Oh,
seep in. Yeah, it could seep into her burn wounds and be toxic and get into
wow.
like make her go septic or something like that.
Oh,
It could
God.
be
It's a
bad. Yeah,
miracle they all didn't die. Good
I mean
golly.
100%. So, uh, her stunt double Barry Danko in the Surrender Dorothy scene where the sky and all that
Hmm.
actually had that person up on in the air with the broom and all that. Well, the broomstick, was actually just a smoking pipe that, spelled out Surrender Dorothy, and it exploded. So the stunt double spent 2 weeks in the hospital with, and then wound up with lifelong scars.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah, yeah. So
Blah.
it's like, oh, great.
It's
But
getting better.
Mark.
Okay.
Well, and the only reason Margaret Hamilton wasn't recast, and because she did spend 6 weeks in the hospital with the burns to her face and hand, was because she wasn't in every scene.
So they could
Like,
film around her. Yeah.
yes, so it wasn't like she had to be there all the time, like the main,
Right.
four characters. So there was that. Um, let's see. Oh, the dog that played Toto, an actor playing one of the witch's foot soldiers, accidentally stepped on the dog, whose name was Terry, sprained the left foot. So they had to get a stunt double for the dog. But yes, but she was actually able to return to the set. But
Okay.
still, it was just the fact that they stepped on the dog and
No,
hurt the
not
dog.
Toto. Oh,
I
Toto.
know.
Oh, Toto. I hate that movie.
And then also again with safety issues, the snow in the poppy scene, do you
Mm-hmm.
know what that was?
Asbestos.
Yes. It said it was 100% industrial grade asbestos.
When in doubt, it's always asbestos.
At what it was, and that's what it said, 100% industrial grade. And I'm like, why did you think that was okay? I
Well,
mean,
I don't.
really?
Did they know yet that asbestos kills
I
you? They
don't
probably
know.
didn't know, but
Probably not, but
that's
still, I'd be
hysterical.
like,
It's raining
ew.
asbestos.
I mean, yeah, it's like, it's a wonder they all didn't like get cancer and die later, you know?
They
Like,
probably
what?
did.
Yeah. And so then the last thing I want to talk about with this one is kind of like with Tippi Hedren, Judy Garland's abuse
Yeah.
during the shooting. That she was 16 years old when she was cast in this role, and they were constantly criticizing her weight.
Mm,
So she developed an eating disorder
I'm
in the middle
sure.
of all this. Yes. And because the shooting schedule was so crazy that they forced her to take uppers and downers to be able to keep up with the crazy schedule. The long hours, and then to be able to go to sleep for like 2 hours and then get back up again, that kind of
So
thing.
you're telling
So,
me that this is a cross between Alfred Hitchcock and the marathon of 1904.
yes, I am. Yes,
All right.
basically.
Keep going.
Yeah. So they suspect that this movie is what kind of kicked off her drug addiction
I'm
because
sure. Because
of
they were giving her drugs.
yes, I mean they were forcing them down her throat basically. It wasn't
Yeah.
like and plus, we don't have like the child labor laws
Right.
now that we, especially in entertainment that they really had back then. So they were really like pushing her to her limit. And so they're saying that this probably is what kicked off her drug addiction,
Mm-hmm.
which ultimately led to her death at
Right.
47 years old in the 60s, because she died of a drug overdose. So that was, yeah, that's Wizard of Oz and the crazy. Now, there was the whole thing that it's rumored that the Munchkins molested her, but
Oh.
yeah, that they would like stick their hands up her dress and that kind of thing. But
Gross.
I had
Ugh.
heard that, and somewhere it said it was probably false.
But yeah, we just don't know.
But it's like, but was it? I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So that's really like rumored, really alleged. That's not.
Right. Right.
So that could have also been a thing that she was dealing with as well, because that was something that one of her husbands had said that had happened to her. She had told him that had happened to her
Mm-hmm.
on the set, but they couldn't find any kind of evidence that had happened after the fact. So we don't know.
Right.
But that's something that could have happened because she did tell somebody. So
Well, I mean, it's not
that
far
too.
fetched. It was 1939. Is that what you
Yeah.
said? She's
Yeah.
16 and on a set of people who don't give a shit about her. So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
Right. Yes. So. Oh, and then the winged monkeys. Forgot about this. The winged monkeys they had to wear these battery packs for their wings to like
Mm-hmm.
make them move, and the battery packs were so large that they had to like, I guess, skimp on the harnesses. Like it wasn't like the harness that you would really need to wear to be doing the kind of flying that they were doing.
Oh
And so
God.
several of them broke and the people fell. Like nobody died or anything, but there were several people who played winged monkeys, and they said that you could just hear them, like the ropes or the wires snapping and them hitting the ground.
Oh
Like you just
God.
hear like thud, thud, snap, thud, that kind of thing. So there were several of them who, like I said, nobody died and nobody was seriously injured. But it's like,
They're
you're like, wait,
they're all over
what?
here like, man, we had to make our aluminum dust into paste and use that water, so now we got to skimp on something. I mean,
Right.
it's so
But what was
stupid.
funny, what's so ironic about this whole thing is that I think it wound up or it was at least nominated, may have won an Academy Award for the special effects. But the special effects almost like killed people. So,
Basically, everybody almost died. So
yes,
cool.
because of this. I mean, it was just like, what? So, yeah, yay, Wizard of Oz. There was a lot of bad things going on with that movie. Anyway, so let's see. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is The Exorcist.
Ooh, that's on Netflix right now. I just saw
It
it.
is, yes. It was released in 1973,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know that it's about Reagan McNeil, who's possessed by a demon,
Right.
and all the bad things happen.
Right.
So, the woman who played the mom, Ellen Burstyn, she suffered spinal injuries while being hoisted around on the harness, like in the
Okay.
scene
Mm-hmm.
where she like picks her up and throws her and all that stuff. So, said that she complained to the director,
Uh-oh.
Billy Friedkin, that the crew members were pulling too hard, like jerking her around too much. And he just like dismissed her concerns and was like, it has to look real. Like, what? And it
Wow.
was said, and she said that after she complained, that again, this is her saying, so it's
Right.
allegedly, that after she complained, she noticed there was like, they were shooting it again, and that he made some kind of signal to the guy who was running the fly thing for the rope, and they like dropped her, and she wound up having to be on crutches for the rest of the production. Like they were
Oh
still
my
filming, and
God.
it was quoted as her saying like, "Stop the fucking filming, get the fucking camera off me." Like she was screaming in pain.
Yeah.
So, but that's alleged. I mean, she did fall. She was on crutches, but she
Right.
says that she saw him make some kind of motion and that then it happened. So, but
Wow.
he was like,
Wow.
it has to look real. So,
Fuck you. God
right,
damn. No.
right. So yeah, that was like, wow. I'd be like, okay, deuces, I'm out.
I would
I'm
have been
not
like,
doing this
are
anymore.
you possessed by a demon? What the hell's wrong with you?
Right. So, after that too, there were also like some deaths happened like after filming, but it was before the movie was released, so it was
Oh,
like
okay.
right
Oh,
after.
so extra spooky. Got it.
So, Jack McGowan, who played the film director Burt Dennings in the movie, and in the movie he was killed by Reagan, broke his neck, and threw him out the window.
Right.
He died from complications related to influenza from the London flu epidemic of 1973, like
Oh, yeah.
right before the film's release. And then the woman who played the priest's mom, her name was, see if I'm gonna butcher this, Vasiliki Malieros.
Sure.
Anyway, they say she died of natural causes, but that was only after like somebody was like, you need to, after an inquest. They're like, please do an autopsy.
Yeah. Like,
So that still sounds like that might be slightly suspicious. So like, but still, she died also before, like right after, before the movie was released, that kind of thing. And also, family members of Linda Blair and Max von Sydow passed, and then Jason Miller, who played the priest, his son had a near fatal motorcycle accident.
Wow.
So it was like people who were connected to the people in the movie also.
Right.
It was just seemed like a lot.
A lot of people
for,
just suddenly were dying. You're like,
Yes. And so then this is the creepy thing.
Okay.
So there was a fire on the set, and it was the set for Reagan's family home, and it burned down after a bird flew into the electric box.
Oh, okay.
But the only part of the set that survived was the bedroom where the exorcisms were filmed.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was like, that's
everything
creepy.
burned down except for
the part where the demons were. So
except where the demons lived. Got it.
Yes. So there was a 6-week delay, and then they called in a Jesuit priest, Thomas King, to come in and bless the set.
Oh my god. Like, they were like, just in case this is real and this is not just a movie that we've accidentally made, let's bless the crap out of this place, shall
we? So that's some stuff that's connected with The Exorcist.
The power of Christ compels you.
I mean, 100%. I think I get some Chinese dragons up in there.
Oh, right, the Chinese dragons.
But so then Poltergeist was released in 1982.
I was just thinking of this movie when you were talking about The Exorcist. It was like the little girl from Poltergeist. Go ahead.
Yes. So there were, let's see, several deaths connected to this movie. Several other things that were like, So I'm going to start with the thing that was like really Spielberg. Did you think that was a good idea? Because you want to be extra AF.
We're going to have to make a Spielberg, what the hell are you doing list.
Yes. So again, Spielberg being extra AF. It's alleged that he insisted on using real human skeletons because they were cheaper than the plastic.
It's so true. Like, what's so bizarre to me, I heard about this on some other podcast talking about how it was normal. Yeah. They used real human skeletons on things. I'm like, the hell?
And it said this was never verified, but the rumor has persisted as to like a reasoning for the bad things that happened.
Well, and in a lot of older movies, when you see skeletons, those are not fake. Those are real bones of people. It's creepy. So creepy. Okay, sorry. Yeah, keep going.
So
keep going.
The guy who played the Native American shaman, his name was Will Sampson. He actually performed an authentic exorcism on the set after shooting one night.
Wow. Oh wow.
So apparently he was like a real, as far as like he could do that kind of thing. That was part of his real life stuff. So he was like, playing playing himself.
Just to be safe. This was awful. Everything's bad. I'm gonna just get the demons out.
Yes.
Good grief.
So, but it didn't work because there were like several people who died like after, and he was one of them.
Oh no!
He died. Yes, he died during a heart-lung transplant after filming, but it was I guess wasn't a very high survival rate for what he was having done anyway. So I know, right? It just makes you like side eye, like, okay. Oh gosh,
right. Sure. There's one that maybe is natural. Keep going.
Oh, but he was in the second Poltergeist. Sorry, two of them were. It's just Poltergeist, the series, the franchise.
Right.
But he was in the second Poltergeist. He was the Native American shaman, Will Sampson. Also in the second Poltergeist, Julian Beck played the evil preacher Cain. After the shooting, he had stomach cancer. And wasn't supposed to live through that, so he died by suicide.
Oh. Well, that's sad.
Yeah. And I was just like, wow.
And a lot of pretty severe health concerns there, but okay.
Right? Yes. Yes, 100%. And then Dominique Dunn played the older sister Dana. She was separated from her partner John Sweeney. And October 30th in 1982, same year that the movie was released, uh, he had come to her house, I guess, to beg her to take him back.
Mm-hmm.
And she refused. So he attacked her and he strangled her and left her for dead on her driveway.
Oh, God.
She was in a coma for 5 days and then later died on November 4th. But here's
Wow.
also what angers me. He only got 6.5 years in
He
prison,
killed her.
and they released him after 3 years and 7 months.
He fucking murdered her and they let him out after like 3 years? That is
Yes.
insane. That is not okay.
No, not okay. Again, double standard.
Hate.
So yeah,
Hate.
that was all. So that happened like the year the movie was released, and then the actress who played Carol Ann, the little girl who is taken to the other side by the demons. I have exorcised the demons. She was misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease in 1987. So they were treating her for Crohn's, which was wrong.
Right.
In 88, she fell ill with flu-like symptoms and collapsed the next day from cardiac arrest. And then I guess they realized, oh, we've been treating her wrong the whole time. She had a bowel obstruction.
Oh, God.
And she died. She died during the operation for the bowel obstruction at 12 years old in 88. Because she was 6. She was 6 when they shot the movie, and then she died in 88. And they think that she suffered. Yeah, they think that she suffered from an intestinal abnormality. So
that probably came as a result of bringing demons into her soul in the movie.
Yes.
I mean, that sounds like a bowel obstruction if I've ever heard one.
Right. And then
so sad. Poor kid.
And then honorable mention, I didn't write it down, but I saw
mention.
I saw something about this. There was a movie called The Conqueror. Back in I didn't write the year down, but it was John Wayne playing Genghis Khan.
Ugh, gross.
Right. But apparently they shot it on the Yucca Flats in Nevada, where they did all that atomic bomb testing.
LOL.
And so a lot of people associated with the movie got cancer and died after filming.
That makes sense.
And they're saying, well, again, alleged. Allegedly. So, yeah, that one was like an honorable mention. Because that was really like the only bad thing that happened. It was just, you know.
Are you kidding? The bad thing was that they had John Wayne portray Genghis Khan.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I know there's a whole lot of John Wayne lovers out there, but he sucks. His acting is trash. He just says the same thing in the same tone in every single... I don't understand. They're awful. Pick someone else.
Oh, God.
Hate. You can
Gregory
at me
Peck.
all you want, by the way.
Gregory Peck. That's my old school. Gregory Peck is my old school star.
And his movies are terrible. I watched The Searchers. My dad, it came on the TV. We were on a cruise to Alaska. And Dad's like, oh, you'll like this. And so
you're
I'm
like,
watching
no.
it. And by the time I get to the end, it's like, what about this movie did you think I'd like? The horrific racism? The total disregard for the fact that white people destroyed Native American lands? Or the fact that apparently a white woman cannot choose to join Native American culture without being killed by her weirdo uncle who's like, she's one of them now. Like, it was just such a bizarre, stupidly bad movie. And also, John Wayne's in it, and he's terrible.
So that was like honorable mention that I kept saying on my like cursed movies list was The Conqueror, that where they shot at Nevada was like atomic bomb testing site kind of thing. So they all got a bunch of radiation poisoning and died. So I was like, wow, you'd think that they would, but I mean, I guess they didn't realize the ramifications and how long that stuff stayed around. Because apparently that where they tested and all that still like plagues the area today.
Well, yes.
The radiation and all that.
Radiation. Something about half-life and that being like a billion years or something, you know, details.
Yes. Right. So, those are my movies that
Those were excellent. I
that were
love
kind of
that.
cursed. Bad things happened, and it was
I
like,
feel
this
like
is
the moral of the story is don't be on a spooky demon movie. Don't be on a Steven Spielberg movie.
100%.
And everything from before 1980 was filled with horrible misogynistic bad people who don't care about their
Actors.
at all.
And not even
Like,
that. It's like like there were no safety
no
precautions.
safety.
It's like, you know, even think about hearing, was it Ben-Hur, like somebody actually died during the filming of the chariot race. It's just like they don't care. We're gonna get our movie done, damn it. We're gonna get it done and it's gonna win Oscars. That's what's gonna
That's right.
happen.
That's all we care about.
Yes.
Some trophy to hold up and be like, we did it! And
We
we're
don't
like,
care about your life.
yeah. So, be careful
So, yeah.
out there.
Right. 100%. Yes.
Alright, so now we are going to switch to
tarot time.
Welcome to Tarot Time with April and Claire.
And me. I'm here. I'm not doing the tarot though.
Yeah, well, but it's for us.
That's
is
true.
our needs. So I'm going to shuffle the cards, and Claire's going to tell me when to stop. Because we're doing a nice, good shuffle. So that we
don't want
get
the same 3 cards we keep getting.
That's right.
Stop.
Okay. Just realized I need my cheat sheet. Okay. So, I will say last week's tarot reading was fairly accurate. I had a lot of things pop up in my work life that were things I wanted to put off and not deal with and hate on, but then had to be like, I gotta deal with this crap. So, dealt with it, and it all turned out fine. So, fine. Are we ready this week?
Yes. Do it.
We have... Oh God, we start off with the death.
The death. Oh,
the death.
Crap.
The death card. God
Not
damn.
inverted?
Not inverted.
Oh, jeez.
So our week starts off with death. That's nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Then we have the 10 of Swords inverted.
10 of Swords inverted.
And then the 9 of Swords upright.
Ooh. It's a swordy week.
Ooh, and it starts with death, so swords probably are good, right?
Right.
Death and swords can't possibly be bad.
I know, right? It's like,
Holy crap, man. I love that it's the death. I didn't realize that it had the on it. That makes it better somehow.
Oh, so it's not just death.
It's not death, it's the death.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Death. Are you ready?
Yes.
Whew. Death is about endings and beginnings, birth and rebirth, change and transformation. There is beauty in death, and it is an inherent part of being alive. Things must come to an end, but after that, new things can begin. Death is about letting go of the old and embracing the new. So upright, it means end, mortality, beginnings, change, transition, and accepting fate. So not necessarily like bad
Death.
Actual death, just some new beginnings and some transition and stuff. So that's how our week starts.
I mean, I can kind of get behind that,
I mean, it sounds like it could be fine. Let's focus on that maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The possibility of beginnings and rebirth, and
that's right.
I don't really know what that's gonna go for. Okay, so then we have the 10 of Swords reversed. Okay, 10 of Swords. You may have recently experienced a crushing failure, betrayal, or disaster that brings you to your knees. Is that my death card?
Right.
However, you should be mindful of not making yourself into a martyr because of it. This card means you've hit rock bottom. From here on out, there's nowhere else to go but up. But ours is reversed. So actually what it means is change, clarity, recovery, and reevaluation. So it's kind of along with the death card of beginnings and transformation, and we're changing, we're evaluating. Yeah. So, okay, that can be fine.
So we're doing a lot of changing and reevaluating this week, apparently.
Apparently. All right. Uh-oh. It's not gonna be good. Are you ready?
Oh, okay.
So our week is going to end with the 9 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 of Swords indicates you may be stricken by fear and anxiety, but this may be all in your head. You may be worrying about a situation a little too much, when in reality, it isn't as bad as you think it is. So upright, it's anxiety, nightmares, despair, and cruelty. Yay.
So we're ending in nightmares. Great.
Nightmares.
Awesome. Ending in nightmares.
Switching back over. That was a lovely tarot reading. I mean, awesome. I was trying to make the best of it. I was like, okay, new beginnings. Something great can come up, right, and it'll be fine. Oh, okay, some change and transformation. Again, okay, cool. We can do this. And it's like nightmares. Cruelty and like
nightmares.
Can't win. Especially because this week I'm gone most of the week at a conference.
There you go.
I'm like, great.
Like, awesome. Hooray.
So I'm so happy to bring you such wonderful cards.
Right. This week. Oh my gosh. All right,
Claire, are you ready?
I am.
It's time for the Wheel of Fate. And you might notice in our newest episode that dropped today that we now have a slide for Wheel of Fate. That pops
up.
Oh God, what is it?
I think it was one of the ones you told me to put on there.
I'm excited.
Alien abductions.
Woo! Alien abductions for next week. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun.
Because nightmares.
Oh well, that's why I have nightmares, because every time I start looking into it, I get freaked out.
Yes.
Woo! Alien abductions.
Not to be confused with UFOs.
Related,
the episode
but
that we did on UFOs.
That's right. No one was abducted in any of our stories.
No, they weren't.
But they will be in our next stories.
Yes. See, in the other stories, they were just kind of terrorized by the UFO.
That's right.
Yes. Awesome. So, join us next week when we bring you some kind of alien abduction story.
That's right.
It'll be awesome.
It's still better than Bitcoin. All right.
I think any of the ones we have left on there are better than Bitcoin.
Well, and like I had just finished that episode, and it's great, and we have great stories, and it's interesting, but like getting there was so awful.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. I was just like, why? What?
I know. Why isn't this more fun? I thought this would be more fun.
Right.
And
yeah.
Bitcoin is just as boring as I thought it was. Sorry, guys.
Only reason we could turn it fun is because we added murder to the mix. So we added murder and crime.
That's right.
We really turned Bitcoin into a true crime story. So yeah. That's where we're at. So yeah. Next week, alien abductions would be great.
And until then, you can find us on Facebook at
Brunch and Judge.
You can see all of our pics on Instagram at
Brunch and Judge.
You can follow us on the YouTube at
Brunch and Judge.
And, of course, on all the podcast networks, we are Brunch and Judge.
Brunch and Judge.
But also, you can send us an email with your own additions for our Wheel of Fate. We'll give you a shout out if your topic becomes our topic for the week.
Because we got our first email this past week.
Yes, we're very excited. Please send us more.
We were like, yay!
Also, if you
Like-
have any fun little judgy stories that you want to share with us, please send them to us. We'll read them out loud eventually. So send it to us.
We're gonna start mini-sodes,
That's
and they're gonna be called "You Be the Judge."
You be the judge.
So if you wanna get in with the judginess, write us a judgy little thing. We'll read it. And we'll judge with you.
That's right. We will most likely agree because that's
Yes.
who we are.
So you can email your Wheel of Fate topics or your judginess, your You Be the Judge stories. You can email those to brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
That's right. And we're excited to read them all.
Yes.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Brunch and Judge. Brunch and Judge. We brunch and judge everything and give you opinions that nobody asked for.